Well, unfortunately, this is very awkward. We cannot possibly keep this hand. If we manage to draw a forest specifically, it would actually be fine. But with only 9 green sources, like, there's no realistic way that you can do that. Even on the draw. Well, okay. This is probably wrong, but I should also just, before I say that and dismiss it, it's good to actually run the odds and figure out what the odds are. So if we have 33 cards in our deck, we have 9 cards that we can draw from that would be okay. So we want to get a forest. We need a forest. We only have 2 draws to get it, because I really want to get it down on turn 2 for Fork in the Road or Moldgraph Scavenger. I don't want to be missing turns. So what are the odds of that happening, just out of curiosity? The odds are 47.7272 repeater percent. So that's not good enough. It's not good enough to keep 7.5% or whatever for this kind of hand, because if we don't get there, we just lose. So definitely a mulligan. But it's good to actually, rather than assume that I know what the odds are, it's probably better if I actually think about it, sit down, do the math, and make sure that it's correct. Plains is interesting. I'm going to bottom it. The odds that we draw Sorin are fairly low, and I've got other better things to do than draw land. Alright, well, I mean, Warp Landscape anyways, so we will get there. I'm hoping that this frightens our opponent into thinking we have, like, Confront the Unknown. Aim High would have worked anyways with Briar Ridge, so then I wouldn't need to play Tooth Collector pre-combat here. I'm willing to trade it for Pale Rider at this point. It gives me a clue. I'm perfectly fine with that. If our opponent jumps with Sanitarium Skeleton, I'm also very okay with that, because that'll just give us an extra clue. This is where Briar Ridge might get in some damage. Yeah, alright. Excellent. And Moldgraph. We have some walls. That's for sure. We've turtled up appropriately. Big Pig? Morkrot Necropod. That is a card. Whew. Well, we're going to leave back Briar Ridge now, and I can hopefully block and throttle. We have to double block because it does have Menace, and then we are going to try this throttle and really hope, really hope that this works. I could wait until the damage is dealt and then throttle, but that's not going to play around a pump spell anyways, and I lose both my creatures if the opponent doesn't have a pump spell, so... Okay, perfect. Whew. Traded Morkrot Necropod for Briar Ridge Patrol. I'm very happy with that. The card was a huge concern for me, and now we're only 1 card away from Delirium, and that's Warp Landscape, so we're actually good. We have Delirium. It's a little awkward because of this Watcher in the Web. That's a card that's going to need to go away eventually. Not sure how, but we will find some way. Rabid Bite will do it at some point. Get in with, like, the Moldgraph Scavenger. Ooh, there's Big Pig. That'll have to be taken down with a double block. Crawling Sensation. Well. Wow, this is the exact mirror match. Is this, like... an Ox? Oh, Griffspoon? Oh, goodness. Well, that is certainly a thing. Griffspoon on the splash. I mean, it's a great card. I don't blame my opponent for splashing it. It was unexpected, so well. I was thinking, like, Delirium cards. I was thinking an Ox or something. Oh, what a top deck. And Magic is all about skill, people. Just saying. It's a skill game. Big skill game. And now opponent can put it on, like, the Griffspoon on Moldgraph Scavenger, but that doesn't really do anything. I just block it with Stonewing Antagonizer. They can put it on Watcher in the Web, but again, that also kind of does nothing. I can either trade with Stonewing Antagonizer or just not care and crack back for 1,000,000. Either way, seems pretty good to me. Take the 2. And we have still, like, 5 more turns before we're actually dead to Watcher in the Web. Fireball Revenant. That is actually very annoying because it's going to be hard for us to block. We have the insect tokens, but those won't stay forever. No to Crawling Sensation. Another land. I have a 30% chance of drawing either Sorin, Gitrog, or Epitaph Golem. So I'm just going to keep holding. We just need enough time. It's all about time. Moldgraph and the Stallion. We have a reasonable clock against our opponent. We still have blockers. I mean, we still have Tooth Collector for Skeleton and Insects for Wolf for Farbog. So we can kind of chump for a turn. And obviously Skinner's going to let other things get pretty out of control. Again, this is a... Buy time is the problem. I have the board. Can I buy enough time to actually get there? I'm hoping that our opponent is afraid enough of the Obsessive Skinner that they leave back the Watcher in the web. That's the big goal here. Just leave back Watcher. 4 mana. Audric Lunarch Marshal? Oh, we're just dead. Uh-oh. I need Sorin right now, because our opponent's whole team gets flying, which means that they can just attack in and win next turn. So they have to hold out for 1 turn, hope that we don't get anything, and we have to either kill them or kill the Audric. Even killing the Watcher in the web doesn't do it, because the Grifspoon will still give flying to their entire team afterwards, so they can just re-equip it to something else. And they all get lifelink right because of Farbog. Opponents should probably just attack with... Can they attack with all of them? They take a lot of damage on the backswing. Yeah, probably just Watcher. Honestly, if I'm the opponent, I don't think I attack with Watcher there. I think I wait and leave it back, because the only way that you're losing this game right now is if I kill the Audric or if I kill you. 1 in 3 chance. Gitrog monster. That's not... Well, I guess it's not quite a 1 in 3, because this no longer does it. I don't really want to show the Gitrog. This is a very sweet game. These are 2 very interesting decks. So weird how often I've mirror matched whenever I've done these full force drafts. I'll let the opponent have the satisfaction of killing me. Good game, good game. What would we have gotten? Oh, Sorin next turn. Never look. Maybe Vessel of Malignity could have come in. This might be one of those times that I want it. Oh, this hand is excellent. There we go. Vessel of Nascency into Skinner, into Crow, and we're basically at Delirium already, very early on in the game. Our opponent didn't show us, like, hardly any removal, so thankfully Skinner looks like it could be very good. Opponent also mulligans, like we did last time. So maybe we'll just flip games here. We lost. Honestly, if I can accomplish... if I can accomplish just one thing, though, I honestly don't need to win the draft. I don't even need to go past this round. I just once need to get a game where we Crawling Sensation and Epitaph Golem and have no cards in our library and just annihilate. That's what I really want. Losing Skinner sucks, but well, what do you do? Oh, Sorin Grim Nemesis and the Inexorable Blob. Youch. That was not exactly the cards that I wanted to see. It does help us get somewhat closer to Delirium. The Blob doesn't really, but Sorin is a Planeswalker, so I mean, it's another card type. That'll help a little bit. Down Tooth Collector and pass. Can just deadweight that out of the way, but yeah, I don't care enough. I mean, we don't really need to attack with Tooth Collector. We can just attack with Crow and Stallion. Be pretty happy about that. This time, I think that I will pump the Stallion twice and play Forsaken Sanctuary. I could play the Fork in the Road. Certainly not unreasonable. Maybe I'll just do it once and then fork. If I'd forked first, I guess I could have done it twice. Yeah, that was a punt, actually. That was a mistake. I could have easily played... If I played fork first, then I could have gotten 1 into my hand. I always think that this puts it into play tapped is the problem. but that's not the way that it works. It puts it into your hand. So I could have played like another forest here and then tap the Stallion again. Ooh, well, too late now. Wait. All right, opponent scoops. Very nice. Got there. Shamble. No swamps. We have a plains. We do have Quilled Wolf and Scavenger and Wicker Witch. I'm on the draw. This seems perfectly acceptable. We have 3 cards to play before we ever need to worry about drawing a swamp. I can't imagine that that's a card that you need to throw back. Alright, Thraben Gargoyle's good. Shape. Obviously depends on what our opponent does. Tireless Tracker may be a problem. Deadweight or Rabbit Bite? Throttle works, but after a long time, which is not really what I had in mind. Well, I am more than willing to trade Quilled Wolf for Tireless Tracker if my opponent would like to do so. I am 2 more turns, I get the Throttle. Opponent shouldn't be able to make Tireless Tracker big enough by then. We can also attack into it at that point and maybe... Oh, wow. Alright. Opponent wants to get very aggressive. Killing the Wicker Witch. Oh, and Rabbit Bite on 3. Well, there you go. They just have removal for everything. I don't think that I like that from our opponent. What was Wicker Witch... what was Thraben Gargoyle doing? I understand Wicker Witch. It was going to block the Tireless Tracker. I don't get Rabbit Bite, though. I would think that they would want to just crack the Clue token, because I can't block. Like, this becomes a 4-3. It's got 3 toughness. I can't block it at that point. Even Quilled Wolf can't block it right now, so I just don't get that. Stallion of Ashmouth can, so I mean, I'll use that. Unless our opponent, of course, plays land, which they probably will, but I'm not quite ready to double block, because I do have the Throttle. This is interesting. Do I want a Murderous Compulsion over Throttle? So the part that's interesting is that obviously Throttle doesn't kill as much as Murderous Compulsion, but Murderous Compulsion also means that they have to have already attacked us, which is kind of an issue. I think that because we've got such a good board versus our opponent currently, that I'm just going to Compulsion that, and then Throttle I can keep attacking into it and be okay with. Sure, use the Clue. It really doesn't matter. Will not stop Tireless Tracker from dying. Excellent. We just attack with everything. Anything that our opponent blocks with, we just throttle the Watcher and we're great. So... attack with the team. I don't want to play the land first because I actually want my opponent to block the Quilled Wolf here. The reason for that being that I get extra damage in. It's not much, but a little bit of extra damage by having them block my 2-2 rather than block anything else. And Throttle. If my opponent has Strength of Arms, I'm going to be very unhappy. Just want to mention it. Going to block multiple things. That's not a bad idea here. The opponent's probably got to figure that we have something. You might as well save the extra damage. That was a really good play on the opponent's part. Good choice. I have to say, that was actually a very smart play by the opponent. Save themselves 3 damage with no downside. I mean, it's pretty obvious that we probably have a trick already, and they just have to block because they're so far behind that they can't just let the damage through. Nice. All right, we got there. And round 2, here we go. Keep this hand. This looks, well, we are on the play. I wanted to keep it just because I see 2 lands, I see Obsessive Skinner, but we have to get a black mana very quickly, or this hand just does nothing. 3 turns, so we're going to get 2 draws, and we have 6, 7 sources, and Fork in the Road. So we have 7 sources of black mana. That's pretty tight on the keep versus the mulligan here. Because in that many draws, we're only going to get like probably about a 40% chance. Oh yeah, there's only a 40% chance or so that we actually get there. So I think that this is a mulligan. Well, I don't love it, but we do get to Scribe. We have Fork in the Road to get our other color, and we have a Wicker Witch. So I'm not going to mulligan this one. Certainly not as explosive as our other hand. If we just grew a swamp in that first hand, I think our chances of winning are quite high, but you can't rely on that, so I'm not going to be able to attack in. I don't think that racing's the correct option here. So what we want to do is buy ourselves time. Don't love throwing away removal very early, but I think that this is acceptable. We'll use the Obsessive Skinner, but we're going to put the counter on itself, despite what I said before, because I do have the Wicker Witch just trading with the Moorland Drifter either way, and that's where I want to block. If I have to, I'll throw the Obsessive Skinner in front of something else. Let's go Quilled Wolf and Crawling Sensation. I'm going to keep putting the counter onto Obsessive Skinner here because I think that we'll just trade near the Quilled Wolf for the Nearheath Chaplain. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. I have the Crawling Sensation that should be able to get us a blocker for the Nearheath Chaplain in the next turn. I can just take 3. We don't need to be that aggressive trading off the Quilled Wolf. The Crawling Sensation, I'm hoping just gets us there. Use the ability, don't get anything. Unfortunate. Thraben Gargoyle can block, though. Tooth Collector would have been great for Nearheath. Or for the tokens afterwards. That's actually where I really want it. I want Tooth Collector back out of my graveyards, because the Delirium against Nearheath Chaplain, those spirits are actually very frightening right now. I'm going to have a problem with that. So now I can put another counter onto the Quilled Wolf. It's a 4/4 and it can block either one of those and not have a trade. So that seems good. Thraben Gargoyle I'll certainly just go under whichever bus wants to come in. If the opponent comes in, I will be blocking the Thraben Gargoyle. And they are coming in. Let's go Quilled Wolf on Voldaren Duelist and the Thraben Gargoyle on the Nearheath. I want the Nearheath to die because of the lifelink. Of course, I don't want it to die because of the other ability on it. I don't know, maybe that's wrong. Because I can beat the lifelink, I think. I don't know that I care how much life my opponent gains. I'm just thinking about trading it because I don't want my opponent gaining 1,000,000 life, but this might be a game where, I mean, I'm just going to go long enough that I don't care what my opponent's life total's at. Even if they're at 40, I mean, if I put enough counters on things with Obsessive Skinner and I have Quilled Wolf and we get Sorin out, do I really care? I can probably just win anyways, right? And I don't really want them getting the 1/1s. I'm sure they have a trick. So Quilled Wolf should die. Strength of Arms. Yep. So I guess that it happens anyways. I was thinking that it might be something that would keep the Nearheath Chaplain alive, like Survive the Night. And if it was going to be something like that, then I'd rather block with Quilled Wolf on the Nearheath Chaplain and let it stay alive. Just let my opponent keep gaining the life. So now my opponent exiles it and gets some tokens. Nope, Blood Mad Vampire. Sure. I might be able to make it big enough. It can attack next turn now, and I'll get another token probably. We need to start making some headway backwards. Oh, well, we didn't take Slayer's Plate because I wanted to go more Delirium. And hey, look, we've gone more Delirium. Yay, us. That seems like a really silly equip. I don't know why they didn't just put it onto the Spirit. I'll chump block with the Insect and be very happy that we get the chance. There goes Sorin. Hey, look, a Plains. More land. Excellent. Just what the doctor ordered. I feel like our opponent just like missed out on 4 damage by equipping to Moorland Drifter. That seemed very silly. Probably doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure our opponent has the win here. Not this turn, but the next turn. I don't think there's anything I can really do about it. But I want to show more cards. Yeah, just in case. Did draw Throttle. We have a chance. So we can attack with one insect. Feel like that's okay. Put a counter on the other insect. We kill this spirit once it attacks, so our opponent can't re-equip Slayer's Plate, and we go to 2. And we still need another removal spell after that. We're not out of the woods by any means. But it gives us a slight chance. Very slight, but a slight chance. Wow. Always watching is a house. Attack with the team? Throttle that. Really hoping the opponent wouldn't attack with everybody. Because now, I guess we can chump block this Moorland Drifter. I don't want to trade the Obsessive Skinner. Yep, alright. That'll be fine. Down to 2. Opponent's deck is very strong. There's some great decks in this draft. Forsaken Sanctuary and another land. And we die to the equipped Slayer's Plate. Uh-oh. Well, I've got a mulligan again. This hand's pretty great, actually. I'm gonna keep this. Briarage Patrol. We'll keep that on top, too. Oh, wow, that draw was very well timed. Our opponent definitely needs a removal spell for Tooth Collector. Tooth Collector was mediocre against our last opponent, but it seems it's insane against this one. I feel like our opponent's going to have a very hard time beating it. So they just think that they can straight race us and they don't care what we play. Not sure that they're wrong on that. Attack back for 7. Opponent hits us for 5, and then we're only 1 down. Okay, so we're going to be at 12. They're at 13. I think it's one of the better things we can do. I can put it on the Briarage Patrol and just not attack with the Briarage. Just attack with Tooth Collector. Yeah, I don't want to race. We're not in a racing deck. We're just going to attack with Tooth Collector and hope that we can get an Vessel Nascency so we can trigger Delirium. The quicker we trigger Delirium, the quicker we can put this game away. No thought to attacking there. I'm guessing that this is the double strike. Yeah, Uncaged Fury. Thing makes the most sense because it's just going to eat the Briarage Patrol. We don't even get a clue off of it. And go to main phase. Opponent plays a Moorland Drifter, I'm guessing. Devilthorn Fox. That one's not so good here if we can trigger Delirium. So, an instant, a Vessel Nascency, a Deadweight, any of those kinds of things trigger Delirium very quickly for us. So, please. Just not a land. Well. Should have known. This is a lot of land again. Hoping that we could avoid this. I don't think that I can block because the upside is just so strong if we can trigger the Delirium. Well, now I have to trade both of them. I'm just forced to. I can't sit here and not attack and not block. I have to try and just trade things off. Hope that we draw really well and get Sorin or Gitrog Monster. We haven't actually been able to play Gitrog Monster or Sorin yet, which is pretty disappointing. Opponent has a trick here, but I mean, I just have no choice. I can't sit here and take that much damage. Inexorable Blobs. Still don't have Delirium, and on a very tight clock from this Apothecary, guys. I would not be surprised if we just die this turn. Not in the slightest. Fiery Temper, Nearheath Chaplain. Nearheath Chaplain's scary. Alright, Quilled Wolf. That does give us a big threat. Can't attack into Chaplain, though. Yeah, I can't see us winning this. I have to get Sorin, I think. Sorin's about the only way that I think that we can win. Oh, well, never mind. And we're dead. Well, it was a good try. I thought this deck was really sweet. Our opponent's deck is insane. Always watching plus the Slayer's Plate is great. It would have been a lot different if we could have drawn our Sorin or Gitrog monster, obviously. We never really got to play our really stupid bombs, which is unfortunate. But it was a lot of fun, anyways. I was hoping that we could get the Epitaph Golem and the Crawling Sensation at least once. We didn't. We got close in one of the games, one of the round 1 ones. So that was kind of fun. The first game was super grindy and really fun. I was hoping that we could play another game like that and showcase the deck a little more. But this gave you a pretty good idea. Don't play against decks with Always Watching and Slayer's Plate. Or just draw better and get your Sorins and your Gitrog monsters if you have a deck like this. Don't draw that much land. That's key. Drawing a few less land would have been very good. In any case, I will see you guys next week. We're going to be doing Red-Green Werewolves, so hopefully you guys stick around for that. I do appreciate everybody watching Full Force Drafting here. It comes out every Thursday at 8 a.m., so always make sure that you stop by Newmont Gaming to check it out. You can also check out my YouTube channel because I'll be putting the videos up there as well. They go live on Sunday, so we get a few days on Newmont Gaming, then it'll go live on my YouTube channel. You can find me Ilyon TV on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitter at IlyonMTG, and you'll be able to vote in all of our choices for what decks we make for our Full Force Draft videos. So thanks everybody for sticking around, and I will see you another time. I'm gonna take the Blood Mad. Ooh, Fevered Visions. Alright, that's our first, like, spicy card. That's the kind of card that I'm looking for. I want some spice. We want some hot stuff in here.